Hello everyone, welcome to Z Computer Lessons. This is Mr. Nsofwa Chilufia, and in today's paper we are going to answer the 2023 Junior Secondary Grade 9 Computer Studies paper. This is going to be a very exciting question paper because I'm going to show you everything starting from section A, section B, all the way to section C. I'm going to show you all the tips that I've acquired, my knowledge on this subject, and we are going to benefit a lot from my lesson. So, hope you enjoy it as I begin to teach. So, without wasting any of your time, let us begin with our question paper. So all these instructions here are repetitive. All these instructions here are repetitive. I won't waste any of your time. You can pause this video and go through these instructions. I'm not going to waste any of the time because each and every year they are basically the same thing, and this is not the reason why you have opened and started to play this video. You are interested in me answering the questions, so I'm going to skip this boring part and let us jump right into our questions. So this is section A, and it carries 20 marks because there are 20 questions. So each question has 1 mark. Okay, so let us answer these questions slowly but surely. So question 1 says, RAM stands for what? Is it A, random access memory, B, random accessing memory, C, read access memory, or D, read accessing memory? So when you're answering these question papers, I want you to develop the habit of analyzing the multiple choice questions. There are always 2 answers that look similar, as I'm going to show you just a couple of moments, and then there are 2 others that confuse you. So as you can see, there are 4 possible answers here, not so. So of these possible answers, there are 2 that look similar. One is the correct answer, and the other one is similar to the correct answer, but it's just there to confuse you. Then there are the 2 others that confuse you. I'm showing you this tip so that when we begin to answer the questions up to question 20, you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about. Okay? So let me show you what I'm talking about. So the correct answer here is the random access memory. So when you look at the remaining 3, you find that there is one that is similar to random access memory. As you can see, this B here, random accessing memory. So when you're not careful, you will be able to answer B. But the correct answer is A, random access memory. But because there is this that is similar to A, you'll be confused. So that's what I'm talking about. Then there are these that don't make sense. Okay? The read access memory and the read accessing memory. These don't even make sense. Okay? So it's random access memory. So the correct answer is A. Let us move on to question 2. Question 2 reads as follows. A dash is an example of an automatic input device. Okay? A dash is an example of an automatic input device. We have been given the keyboards, the keypads, the mouse, and the sensor. So, if you want to answer this question, you must first look at the question carefully. They are talking about an automatic input device. They're not just saying that dash is an example of an input device. Otherwise, all these will be correct. But they have said that dash is an automatic. So the key word here is automatic. You must be very careful when answering these tricky questions. So the same thing that I showed you on question 1, you'll be able to find that it also applies here and also in question 3. So let us answer first question 2. So when something is automatic, which means it doesn't require you to use much work. It does the thing for itself. Okay, it's automatic. You don't have to waste energy on it. It just inputs data automatically. So that is what I mean. So the keyboard is not an automatic input device. Why? Because we have to manually type the data. You have to type when you want to write something. For example, I love my school. You have to type all the letters on yourself, each by each. Okay, so that doesn't qualify to be an automatic input device. Let's see B, a keypad. Keypad is similar to a keyboard, except it only has numbers. Obviously, it only has numeric values. For example, when you are entering the phone number on your phone, there are no letters, there are only numbers. So that's an example of a keypad. So it's also not an automatic input device. Let us look at the mouse. The mouse is also not an automatic input device. Do you know why? Because you have to click it every time you want to select or do something on the computer. You have to do it yourself. Okay, the computer doesn't do it for you. You have to do it yourself. What of D, the sensor? A sensor is an automatic input device. The reason why I'm saying this is because you don't have to do anything. It only senses it. For example, as you look back these few years ago when we had the coronavirus, okay, when people were being screened for the symptoms and the temperature, the people who are doing that were not measuring the temperature with a thermometer. They do certain calculations. No. All they had to do is place it and on your forehead or anywhere where the temperature can be recorded, and it will be able to measure the temperature, the heat signature as it was coming away from your body, and so on and so forth. So a sensor is something that is automatic. For example, a barcode reader is also a sensor. When you go in a shop, they don't look at the physical item or product that you have bought. All they have to do is get the handheld sensor, the wand, and they scan your product, and it will automatically input the price and the details about the products into the computer. So the correct answer here is 2. On question 2 is D. So the correct answer is D, the sensor. Let us go to question 3. Which of the following memory size is the smallest? Which of the following memory size is the smallest? As you know, when you're answering these questions, it's okay. You can get a rough piece of paper and do some conversions. Take all those big units such as the GBs, the MBs and kilobytes and convert them into just one unit. For example, you convert this 0.9 GB into bytes. You also convert this 1.8 megabytes into bytes, and this 102 kilobytes into bytes as well, so that you can compare them easily. But the correct answer here is D. The correct answer is D. This is the smallest, because these are big units. When you see GB, even as though it looks like it's a 0.9, it's a big unit as compared to this, okay? And this MB is also a big unit as compared to the KB. And this, so that's the smallest. This is the smallest, but it's a very good idea to solve these and convert them on your own, because if you are only looking at the size that, since this is a GB, it's the biggest, no, you can be misled. So as for me, I solved it and I found that this 2048 bytes is the smallest and these are the biggest. So the correct answer here is D. Let us move on. Question 4 says dash bar is the top row of a window of an application where its name is shown. Okay, the dash bar is the top row of a window of an application where its name is shown. Okay, so the correct answer here is the title, C. Yes, so this is the title bar. This is where you are able to see the name of the application. Okay, for now, okay, let me open Microsoft Word. Let's just search Word and I'll show you what they mean, and open it. So you will be able to see what they are talking about in this question. Let us just open a blank document. And yes, so have you seen here on top, this is what they are referring to, this top part. This is what we call the title bar. So we are able to see this Word. So this is the name of application we are using. It's called Microsoft Word. If you want, we can do another thing. Let us open Excel. And you'll be able to see that even in Microsoft Excel, it's going to show the title bar. And in the title bar, that's where we see the name of the program that we have opened. So as it opens, let us just maximize this and go where it says blank workbook. By the way, if you have been watching the videos on this channel, if you haven't, you can check them out. There's like a lot of videos, practical videos, on which I teach Microsoft examination paper 2. So check that out if you haven't. So as you can see, it is showing Microsoft Excel. In the previous one, it showed Microsoft Word. So this is the title bar that shows us the name of the program or the application. So the correct answer is C. Okay, let us move on. Question 5. Dash is the type of software that manages hardware such as a storage device. Which software manages the hardware? Okay, so there are two types of softwares in general. There are two types of softwares in a computer. There are those that we call application softwares and those that we call the operating system softwares. So the one that manages everything, the hardware of the computer, the one that manages the overall hardware, such as the storage device as it has been given in our question, is the operating system. So operating system is very important in a computer system. Without an operating system, the computer is just useless. It's just a useless pile of metal and plastic. No offense, but that's just the way it is. The operating system is the one that gives life to the computer. So minus the operating system, the computer cannot operate. Therefore, this is why it's called the operating system. It's like the human body. Without the human body, without the brain is what controls everything in the human body, from your temperature. Even though you're not aware that it is regulating the temperature, when it's hot you begin to sweat, you're not thinking about let me just start sweating so that my body can cool. No, it is automatic. So that's a function of the operating system. It controls everything, every operation, even the operation that you are not aware of as you are using the computer. It is able to do that. So it's the operating system, okay? And as you can see, as I said earlier in the first question, there are those answers that just confuse you. For example, payroll system. This doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. Generic software doesn't also make sense. But if you look, I said that there are two types of software. There's an application software and operating system. So have you seen there's this one which is similar to operating system. It's there to what? Confuse you. So you have to be very careful when answering this. This doesn't just apply to computer studies. It also applies to other subjects. So when you just understand this fundamental concept of answering multiple choice questions, trust me, you'll always be scoring higher marks. Okay, so without wasting any much of your time, the answer here is the operating system. Let us go to question 6. Which function on the keyboard opens the spell checker dialog box? So which function By the way, this F here, this F, if you look on your keyboards, there are these F's. So this only stands for function, okay? So this is function 12, function 9, function 8, and function 7. So of these functions, which one, when we press them, opens the spell checker dialog box? Okay? By the way, this spell checker dialog box is usually found in Microsoft Word and other programs. So it's not just Microsoft Word, even Excel, PowerPoint, Publisher, and so on. So let me open Microsoft Word and I'll show you the reason why they are saying this. Let us open Microsoft Word real quick and I'll show you. I like to show you what I'm teaching so that you better grasp the concept, okay? So let's just wait for that annoying pop icon, that icon, yep, this icon over here. Let's just cancel it. So when I type, let me type school, but not school with the double O, just one O, just one O, okay? No, the computer has corrected me. I don't want it to correct me. I just want this wrong, so that I can demonstrate what I'm talking about. When I press the F7 on my keyboard, as I press it, have you seen what is happening? It has brought something, a dialog box, that is able to detect in my document. This is my document. So far, I only have one word in my document. This word that is very weirdly spelled. So, as I press F7, it has given me a list of options suggesting the correct answer or the correct spelling. So I'm able to see school. So this is the correct spelling. So when I press F7, it is able to show me the correct and wrong. It's able to show me the words that I've misspelled in my document. It's a very, very, very useful feature. Okay? So it's very useful feature. So I'm able to see that this spell checker has detected that I've misspelled the word school, and it has corrected me and given me a list of options. So I can just press I just double click and it will be able to correct my word. And as you can see, it has completed to check my document, and there is no longer a misspelled word. Okay, so that's the function of F7. So whenever you want to check your document for misspelled words, all you have to do is press the F7 keyboard button, and everything will be done for you automatically. So let us go to question 7. Question 7 reads as follows: dash is used to connect computers so that files are shared on a network without using wires. So dash is used to connect computers so that files are shared on a network without using wires. So which of these answers is correct? So when you look at internet or sharing things using computers, when we share things without wires, we call that wireless. We're doing that wirelessly. So wireless, whenever you hear the word wireless, I know most of you, what comes in your mind is Wi-Fi, of which this is the correct answer. So on question 7, the correct answer is D, Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is used to connect computers so that files are shared on a network without using wires. So all these don't make sense. Server doesn't make sense for this question. Sensor. So the correct answer is Wi-Fi or wireless fidelity. So that's Wi-Fi. Let us go to question 8. Question 8 reads as follows: which of the following optical storage media show the storage div size? Okay, let me just read it properly. Question 8 reads as follows: which of the following optical storage media show the storage size from the largest to the smallest? So we have been given these storage media: the DVD, the VCD, and the CD. So in order for you to properly understand this question, I'm going to explain this individually. I'm going to explain first what the CD is, what the VCD is, then I'm going to also explain finally what the DVD is, so that you are able to understand, because I find that it's annoying. People interchangeably use these words. Where they are supposed to use DVD, they are using VCD and so on, and that is very annoying. So I'm going to share with you my knowledge on this subject, okay? And for that, I've added some notes. So let us look first at let us talk about the CD. So what is the CD? CD stands for compact disc, okay? So CD is a compact disc. So this disc is just a type of storage device. It's used to store data. It's a data storage, okay? It's a data storage. So what this basically means is that it allows one to store data. As simple as that. It allows a person or an individual to store data. That's the function of the compact disc, the CD. So mainly, this CD was used to store audio tracks such as music, especially in the late 90s and the early 2000s, when the USB or the flash disks were not, that technology wasn't invented yet. So they were using CDs to store music. So in your car, when you want to listen to music, all you have to do is insert the CD into the CD player, and you'll be able to listen to your music tracks, okay? So that's the primary reason why the CDs existed, where it was to listen to music or play or store music, okay? Therefore, that is small. If you think about it, music doesn't take up a lot of storage size. This is why the CD is the smallest. So the CD is the smallest. I want you to remember this, because we have been taught in the question to arrange them in the order of largest to smallest. So far we have identified that the CD is the smallest. So now let us go to the next, the video compact discs, or the VCDs. If you look at the initials CD and VCDs, you will understand that they are similar. They are all ending with a CD at the last. They are both compact discs. But for this second one, the video compact disc, it has the video part, and that is the only difference between the compact disc and the VCD, the video compact disc. The only difference here is the VCD is specific. It's like this compact disc on top here, but the difference here is that it only deals with storing videos. So the first one, the CD, can store audio, it can also store documents, it can also store videos. But this second one here, the VCD, it's only used to store videos only, or video data. So that's the only difference, and you are able to agree with me that videos are very large in size. So therefore, the VCD is ultimately bigger than the CD. So we have started to answer now the question. This is why I'm explaining to you, so that you can better judge the question and understand it, and therefore ultimately answer it. So the CD is the smallest, then followed by the VCD, because it deals with videos, and videos are big, therefore the storage size needs to be big, okay? So, and finally the last one is the digital video disc, the DVD, okay? So this is also a disc. The only difference is that it also stores videos like the VCD, but it stores in a much better quality. So the quality of this DVD is bigger and better than the VCD, and therefore it's the biggest amongst all of these storage devices. So as from judging from my explanation, you are able to conclude that the first and the biggest or largest storage media is the DVD, followed by the VCD, then lastly the CD. So therefore the answer is A. There is the answer, DVD, then the VCD, then lastly the CD. So that's the answer. The answer is A on question 8. Let us move on to question 9. In Excel, the symbol there is used for what? Is it addition, division, multiplication, or subtraction? So the correct answer here is addition. So whenever you see this symbol, this is the summation symbol, and it is used to do or carry out addition operations. As simple as that. Let us go to question 10. Question 10 reads as follows: how can personal data be protected from hackers? How can personal data be protected from hackers? Is it by backing up information, changing passwords frequently, clicking an email attachment, or decrypting the information? So what's the correct answer here? So the correct answer here is let me see, changing the password frequently. So the correct answer is changing the password frequently, and I'll explain why I'm saying this is the correct answer. Hackers are very annoying people. They steal information. So when you back up information, and by backup what we mean is you get your information. Let's say you have created an application, okay? An application that looks like Facebook or WhatsApp. You have created an app, and you are very proud. You invested a lot of money in creating that app, and you don't want it to be shared or stolen by hackers. So then you decide to transfer that application and put it in another computer or somewhere else. That won't make your data protected. That won't protect your data, because what the hacker will do is will go after that other storage device you have backed up the application. So backing up doesn't necessarily protect you from hackers, okay? Backing up only just ensures that when you lose one copy, you are able to retrieve because you kept the other copy. So backing up doesn't protect your data, your personal data, okay? This is why we're not saying A is the answer. And C is not the answer, because clicking an email attachment doesn't even make sense, okay? It doesn't make sense. I won't even explain this. Let us go to D. Decrypting the information. This doesn't also make sense. Trust me, if you want, you can Google what decrypting is and all that stuff. You understand that it doesn't make sense. The reason why I'm saying B makes sense is because when you change your password frequently, imagine if your password is 1234, okay? And the hacker comes to know the password, and you will be able to just type that password there every day when he wants to access your information. But when you have the habit of frequently changing your password, the hacker will become frustrated. Let's say today you change 1234, then tomorrow you change 1234, then you put your name at the last or at the end. The hacker won't be able to understand the password. That's why I'm saying that B is the correct answer, because when you change your password frequently, your data will be protected. So the answer is B. Let us go to question 11. Question 11 says the CPU and the dash are two examples of processing devices. The CPU and the dash. Okay, by processing we mean devices that do calculations and analyzing things and data to give us a result, okay, a meaningful result. So the CPU and which other device is able to process? Is it the compact disc? This is not correct. We have already discussed that they are only used to store, they are not used to process, so A is not the answer. Hard disk is not also the answer. Whatever has disk at the end, in short, is a storage. media. It doesn't do processing. So now we are left with these two. That's why I was saying that there are always two answers that are very similar, just to confuse you. Have you seen what I was talking about? So this is the scenario. So is it the memory card or the network card? As you are able to agree with me, the memory card is only also used to store data. So therefore the answer is the network card. So the network card also does the processing. So I won't go into detail here, but what I can say is when you are using a computer and you are accessing the internet, the CPU is not the device that is handling that. It's the network card. So this is why we are saying the network card is an example of processing device. So the answer is D. So question 12, to dash is to bring information into a program from another program. Is it A, export, B, forward, C, indent, or D, import? The correct answer is D. When you import is to, then this means that you are bringing information into a program from other programs. You're bringing it in, so you are importing. So this is a straightforward question. I won't go any further. Question 13 goes as follows: which file extension is suitable for storing images for web pages? Is it PNG, PDF, TIF, or TXT? So which file extension? So by file extension we mean that okay, let me explain this as simple as I can. So for example, we have images. We have different types of data in a computer. We have images, we have videos, we have audio, and we have text. For example, documents. So all these types of data have a file extension. This allows the computer to open an appropriate program for them. Because imagine you have a video on a computer and it has a file extension MP4, and then you open it with an application that only opens pictures. That video won't play. Do you know why it won't play? Because that application only opens pictures, not videos. So that's why file extensions are very important. They allow us to understand better the type of file we are dealing with. Is it audio? Is it video? Is it text? And so on and so forth. So the question here is saying that which file extension is suitable for images? This is the key word, images. If they said videos, they could have been file extensions for videos, but they are saying now images. So images have a file extension PNG. So the PNG is the only appropriate answer here. We are not going to say PDF because PDF is the file extension for documents only. As you can see, this is a document. This past paper we are answering right now, this is a document. That's why if you are able to see on the top corner, the top left corner here, you're able to see the name of the file, then there is a .pdf because this is a document. So this is a document. PDF is used for documents and not images. And since the question is talking about images, the correct answer here is PNG. So the correct answer is A. This one here, TXT, is only used for text. Okay, so the correct answer is A. Let us move on to question 14. Question 14 states that how are activities controlled in the computer system? So how are activities controlled in the computer system? Is it by using the CPU, the flash disk, the hard disk, or the NIC? So as I mentioned earlier, activities, all the activities from the images that are being displayed on the monitor, from how the keyboard, when you type, it's able to display the text on the monitor and everything. When you open an audio file, a song, it's able to play through the speakers, everything. What I mean by everything, I mean everything on the computer system. So what controls that is the CPU. It's the central processing unit. That's where the majority, this is the heart and soul of the computer. So the CPU is the one responsible for controlling all the activities in the computer system. So all these flash disk, hard disk, whenever you see disk, just you understand that they're talking about this storage. Storage devices don't do processing. So these are wrong answers. And as I've always been emphasizing ever since we have started answering this question paper, there are always two that are similar. So for this part, there is CPU and the NIC, the network interface card. So they are only there to confuse you, but the correct answer is the CPU, okay? The CPU. Let us move on to question 15. Question 15 says, the type of license that gives users the right to use and what to use an application software for is called what? So what is the name of this license? So the name of this license is the end user license agreement. A. So this is the end user license agreement. I'm sure you can remember this. This is a grade 8 topic. I won't go into detail, but that's the answer. The end user license agreement. And this license basically gives users the right to use and what to use the application software for. Okay. For example, you have a software for editing photos. Okay. So that software, let's say you are using Adobe Photoshop and it's used to edit photos. And that license agreement, when you open that software, whenever you are installing any software on a computer, it brings a dialog box and you have to agree with the license agreements. When you don't agree with those license agreements, you won't be able to install that software. So only when you agree with that license are you able to install that software on your computer system. So that's the end user license agreement. It gives you the right to use the software and what to use it for. So when you violate the license, for example, you have a Photoshop application software, you're able to create what is realistic images, then you start using that software to do illegal things, such as making fake IDs, fake passports. That will mean that you are violating that end user license agreement and you can go to court for that. So that's why this is very important. You can go on Google and Google about it. I won't go into detail, but yeah, that's basically it. So the correct answer is A. Let us go to question 16. What is produced on a document in Word? Let me repeat what I've said. What is produced on a document in Word when Control and equals are pressed at the same time? So what happens when we open Microsoft Word? That's what they mean here when they say document in Word. What happens when we press Control and the equal to symbol? So let me show you by opening Microsoft Word as we did earlier. So let us open Microsoft Word, and I will be able to show you from there. So this is Microsoft Word 2016. Let's open a blank document and let's just allow it to bring that annoying dialog box, because this is not a free software, by the way. Yes, let us cancel it. When you press the Control and equal to sign, it opens what we call the subscript. So let us say we want to type something, for example H2O. So H2O. So this is the chemical formula for water. I won't go into detail, but this is not how we write it. I'll give you two examples. This is not how we write it. Let me show you what it does. What is the question saying? when we press Control and equals, I want you to see what will happen. This is the equation I've typed here. Now let me write it the proper way. That's not how we write H2O. Let me show you how we write it the proper way. So we press the H in capital letters, obviously the H, then the 2. This is what we do. Let me press the Control and the equal to sign. I want you to observe what will happen on the computer. Have you seen what is happening to the cursor? The cursor has gone below the baseline where the letters sit. It has gone below. So that's what happens. In computer we call that the subscript. We call that the subscript. Let me just show you. When I press the 2, have you seen the 2? If you compare this 2 and this 2 we had in the first example, you will notice the difference. This 2 is slightly small in size and it has gone below where the letters are supposed to sit. So that is what happens when you press the Control and equals to sign. So that's the subscript. This is not just for chemical formulas, even equations. Let me give you an example here. In mathematics, when we want to raise numbers to a given power, let's say we want to write 100 to a power, let's say 7. So what are we supposed to do? All we have to do is press the Control and the plus, and that cursor will go on top and we are able to write 7. 10 to the power 7. So when you press the Control and equal to sign, it brings up the subscript. So the correct answer is C. It brings up the subscript. Let us go below. Question 17. So as you can see on question 16, these appear similar. So they are only there to confuse you. So in the question, if they said D, what happens when we press Control and plus? The answer would have been superscript. But since they have said what happens when we press Control and equal to sign, the answer is subscript. So whatever we type goes below. Superscript, whatever we type goes above the letters. So that's the only difference. So the answer here is C, subscript. Question 17 reads as follows. In Excel, the correct formula to add numbers from column C and column F in row number 3 is what? So these are the options. So whenever you are adding a formula, we always start with the equal to sign, as they have been given in these multiple choice questions. Then what we need to do is look at the question first. We are adding numbers that are in column C and F. Okay, column C and F, but they share the same row number, which is 3. So we are going to have C3 plus F3. So if we look on our multiple choice answers here, we are able to say that there's a formula that matches what we have just been talking about. And equal to sign, then we have C3 plus F3. So the correct answer here is the number letter C. This is letter C, so the correct answer is C, which is equals C3 plus F3. So this is the correct answer. Don't follow this answer, even though it looks tempting. Trust me, this is not the correct way of doing this, because if you see these 2 dots, these 4 columns, this is only used when we are adding numbers that are more than 2 cells. But here we are only dealing with 2 cells, so therefore we are only using this addition symbol, C3 plus F3. So this is the correct answer. If you are finding any challenges understanding what I'm talking about, I will show you a link in this video somewhere, and you'll be able to go and watch that video, and you'll be able to better understand these questions. Okay. So this is the answer. The answer is C. Let us go to question 8. Question 8 says, dash is the type of software that hides itself and damages other computer software and files. So which software hides itself? Whenever you see something that is talking about the software hiding itself, the answer that should come always into your mind is the Trojan horse. The Trojan horse. Yes, there is a reason why they call this a Trojan horse. This was a physical horse in which soldiers used to hide themselves. And when the enemies opened that horse to see what was inside, they were attacked. So therefore, those that were creating this software, they thought that, that story is similar to what happened in the past. So therefore, that's where the name comes from, Trojan horse. So a Trojan horse is a type of software that hides itself, from the story that I'm sharing with you. It's a software that hides itself, and when it's opened, it affects the computer. It damages other computer softwares. So the correct answer is C. Okay? If you want, you can Google it. You'll be able to understand what I'm talking about. But for now, just understand that whenever you see a question that's talking about a software that hides itself, the answer is always Trojan horse. So let us go to question 19. In Word, the feature that enables a user to send one common letter to many people at once is called what? So what do we call that feature? So that feature is called the mail merge. It's the mail merge, okay? So the mail merge is a feature that allows us to send multiple emails to different people. Let me show you in Microsoft Word. I like always to show what I'm talking about so that you are able to see firsthand that these questions are coming from what happens in real life. They are not just abstract things that a person thinks about when creating this question paper. These are real things. So the answer is mail merge. So this is Microsoft Word, and if you go in this mailings tab, you left click there, you'll be able to see something that is saying start mail merge. So mail merge, as you can read here in this description, it says it allows you to create one document and send it. It creates one document and sends it to multiple people. So that's what mail merge is standing for. So the answer is A, mail merge. It allows you to send common letters or any document to many people at once. So let us go to the last but not least question of this question paper, the section A. So this is question 20, and it says payment of goods at a supermarket using a debit card is done through a system known as electronic fund dash. So what do we call this? So when you're making payments on a supermarket and you're using a debit card instead of using physical cash, we call that electronic fund transfer at point of sale. So the correct answer is C. So the correct answer is electronic fund transfer at point of sale. Okay, very well. This is the end of section A. If you have followed along, thank you very much. You have learned a lot in this section, and I wish you all the best in answering the future multiple choice questions. But for now, excellent work. Thank you very much for making it this far. I don't know, there are a lot of people that don't make it this far. If you have done that, I salute you. You are a legend, an absolute legend. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this part, and let us jump right into section B. Right, this is section B. We have started to answer of the 2023 question paper for the grade 9s, the junior secondary. This is carrying 20 marks, and there are 15 questions. So we have been told to answer all the questions in these sections by using one word or short phrase. Write your answers in the answer booklet provided, blah blah blah, whatever. So we are not answering the exam right now, so let us just begin with the answering of the questions. So question 1 says what? The abbreviation USB stands for what? So what do the letters, so this is what they mean by abbreviation. What do the letters U, S and B stand for? So USB stands for Universal Serial Bus. As you can see, the Universal Serial Bus. So that's what the letters USB stands for. And it is used on various devices such as computers, TVs, and so on and so forth. Okay? So that's just a port where you are able to connect your flashes, your devices. It's basically just an input outlet or output outlet if you want. Okay, let us go to question 2. Question 2 says dash and dash are examples of system software. So which of the following are examples of system software? The answers are Windows, Linux, Android, and iOS. So these are the answers. Windows is a system software that is created by Microsoft, and it's the most widely used system software on the planet. Android is used by most of the mobile phones, and also iOS is used by most of the iPhones. All the iPhones use iOS. So these are the type of system softwares. So the reason why they are called system softwares is because they are used to manage the entire hardware of a device. So iOS is a system software to manage all iPhones. Whichever iPhone on the planet you may think of, the iOS is responsible for managing that system. This is why it's called a system software. Android for all the Android devices, Windows for all PCs, personal computers, and so on and so forth. So those are the answers. Obviously, you only have to pick 2 of them because we are only required to put 2 answers here. Therefore, it carries 2 marks. So let us go to question 3. Question 3 says addition, subtraction, dash and dash are the arithmetic operations performed by the CPU, the central processing unit. So in mathematics or in arithmetics, there are 4 basic operations. There is addition, subtraction. So now in this paper, we have been told to find the remaining 2. The remaining 2 are multiplication and division. So multiplication and division are the arithmetic operations performed by the CPU. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division are the 4 arithmetic operations that are used by the CPU to carry out different things such as adding of data, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Let's go to 4. To delete a slide, one has to dash click it on the navigation panel. So we're talking about publisher here, or we're talking about PowerPoint here, because PowerPoint deals with slides. So whenever we want to delete a slide, what do we have to click? So we have to right click. We have to right click on the navigation panel. So we have to right click it to delete the slide. So let me show you what we are talking about. Let us open PowerPoint. So when we open PowerPoint, this is when you are going to be able to see what we are talking about. So let us just open a blank presentation. So this is our blank presentation. So this is our blank presentation, and we have been told that to delete a slide, one has to click it on the navigation panel. So this is the navigation panel here, obviously. So what do? We right click it. So just press the right mouse button and you will be able to see a section that is saying delete slide, and when you click that, all the slides are gone. So that's what we mean when we say right click to delete the slide. Okay, so let us move on to the next question. Question 5 says to type the first letter of a word in uppercase without using the caps lock key. Okay, a user can hold down the what button while pressing the key of the letter. So what are they telling us here? So when you want to type something in uppercase or in capital letters, let me show you in Microsoft Word. So whenever you want to type something in capital letters, you are always provided with two options. You can press the caps lock, and the caps lock, what the caps lock will do is whichever letter you press after pressing the caps lock will be in capital letters. That's what caps lock does. Whichever letter. For example, I want to type, let's say I want to type, what can I type? Education. So my caps lock is off. So when I type education, as you can see what is happening. All my letters, let me just do this. All my letters are in lowercase. They are basically in the low alphabetical letters. Okay, they are in lowercase. So if I want to type this education, all the letters in capital letters, I have two options. I can, if I want, just hold the caps lock. Now after pressing the caps lock keyboard button, whichever letter I type will be in capital letters. For example, education. As you can see, all the letters are in capital letters. But if you want, what you can do is this. Okay, for example, you want to just capitalize the first letter of the word you want to type. Let's say education. So all I have to do, if I don't want to press the caps lock, is press the shift button. So you hold your shift button and then you press the letter you want to be in capital letters. So I want the letter to be in capital letters. The letter is E, so I just press E. So what that does is, unlike the caps lock, when I let go of my shift keyboard button and I start to type education, as you can see, they are back to normal in small letters. So that's what the shift keyboard button does. It gives you power over which letter you want to be in capital letters or small letters. For example, let me type a weird word. Let me type what can I say? Let me type birthday. So if I type B, let's say for some reason I want the letter I to be in capital letters, but I don't want it to press the caps lock. All I have to do is hold the shift and press I. Then let go of the shift. Then I continue and carry on with the small letters. R, T. Let's say now I want the H to be in capital letters without holding the caps lock. All I have to do is hold the shift keyboard button and press H. As you can see, it gives me power over which letters I want to be in uppercase or lowercase. That's the function of the shift. It's not only used to turn letters into uppercase, it can also be used to press different symbols that can only be accessed by holding the shift keyboard button. So that's what I was trying to talk about here. So yeah, so the correct answer is, I'm a bit carried away, where is it? Number 5. So yeah, the shift key. So when you press the shift key, it brings the letters in uppercase. Okay, when you press the shift key, it also brings the letters in uppercase. So number 6 says an icon represents a dash and a dash. So an icon, for example, this software I'm using right now, as you are seeing, it has different icons. You can see these icons that show the undo and redo. There are arrows. There are these icons, it displays an and. There are all these icons, as you can see, it displaying different things. There are, even if you look at your right here, it shows this icon for comments, this icon for adding things, different things. There's an icon that displays the number of pages. There's a number, the icon to, when I press it, the page will go below or you will go up. There is an icon for rotating the page, for zooming in, zooming out, as you can see. So icons can represent different things. They can represent a document, they can represent a file, they can represent a folder or a program, etc. So icons are very useful. They can display a numerous number of things. So icons, for example, if I show you here on the, so let me show you on the taskbar. Have you seen all these things you are seeing here are icons of the programs that are on my computer system. If you go here, you are also able to see these are icons, whatever is looking in a picture form. So these are icons to show folders. These yellow things here, as you can see, these orange things are showing folders, these are showing programs, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, icons are very useful. So the correct answer is icons can be used to show documents, files, folders, or programs, etc. Anything that is stored on a computer can be represented using an icon. So let's go to 7. Question 7 says, dash are items entered on a computer as input. So what is entered on a computer as input? The correct answer is data. So whatever you enter in a computer is data. Okay, so data is any item entered on a computer as input. So question 8 says, a scanner copies dash documents and creates the dash that is stored in the computer. So the correct answer here is a scanner copies printed documents. Whatever is on a physical paper or a physical material, the scanner copies that. So the scanner copies printed documents, and what? It creates the electronic copy that is stored in the computer system. So that's the function of the scanner. Okay, it just copies whatever is on a paper, then it creates something that can be stored on a computer, an electronic copy, a soft copy, or a digitalized copy. So that's the function of the scanner. So those are answers. Question 9 says, dash allows users to find a website even if they do not know the uniform resource locator. So the uniform resource locator is, for example, www.youtube.com, www.facebook.com, and so on and so forth. So what can we use when we don't know the website or the uniform resource locator? What can we use? Which tool can we use? It's what the question is saying. Maybe obviously you have downloaded a certain song without even thinking about the website. Not so. For example, there's a new song that has come out in your country and everyone is talking about it. I mean, all you have to do is search for the name or the title of the song, anything that is related to the song, maybe the lyrics or something. You just search for that and it will bring different websites that you can visit to download that song. So now, what do we use to do that? The correct answer is we use a search engine. A search engine. So as some examples of search engines I can think about is www.google, or in short Google. So Google is a search engine. When you search for Google, or you open Google and search for a musician, you just type the name of the song. Google will be able to show you a list of websites that you can choose, or a list of uniform resource locators, not so, because you are locating that song. That song is on the internet and it's unique. You want to locate it, so a search engine allows you to locate that. Okay, so the correct answer is search engine. So Google is a search engine. There is also Bing. There is also DuckDuckGo. If you have heard of it, it's not that popular, but people use it because it's very secure, and like Google and so on and so forth. But you get the point. So a search engine is used to find a website. Even if you don't know the website, the name of the website, if you just search for that specific thing you want to download, the search engine will give you a list of websites that you can choose from, and you'll be able to access that resource. As simple as that. So question 10 says to read account numbers on checks at a bank, dash reader is used. So the account number on a check at a bank are read by which device? So the correct answer is the magnetic ink character reader, or the MICR. Sometimes this will come in the exam, that what does MICR stand for? So the correct answer is the magnetic ink character reader. It's able to read the characters or account numbers on a check at the bank. Question 11 says dash is the license that gives a computer dash is the license that gives a company the right to own software it has developed. So when you develop a software, you create something, a software that people can use, like a software. For example, you create something like Facebook or YouTube, TikTok, any software you can think of. Maybe it's a picture editing software, or a music production software, or an antivirus. Okay, you should license that software. So what do we call that license? That gives a company the right to own that. That software that says that these are the true people, the authors that created that software. So what do we call that? The answer is copyright. So copyright is the license that gives a company the right to own that software. Okay, so the copyright is what gives the authority to a specific company and says that these are the people who designed this software. Because in this world, there are people who may say that they are the owners of this software, and things can get messed up. So the copyright is there to help people own the property. It's like a title deed in a house. If you have a title deed, that shows that you are the owner of that house or that property. So now in terms of software, the copyright is what gives the right to the owners, in short. So the correct answer is copyright. Okay, as simple as that. Question 12 says dash odds programs while the computer is on. So what odds programs while the computer is on? The correct answer is the RAM, or it goes by many names. You can answer the internal memory, the main memory, or the RAM. All those are correct, valid answers. So the RAM or the internal memory odds programs when the computer is on. But when the computer is off, all of the data in the RAM gets disappeared. Okay? Whenever I'm teaching the learners, I give a very interesting example. Let me share this with you. So think of the RAM as a classroom. Whenever it's time to go to school, imagine the learners are data. Okay, I know this is a weird example, but trust me, you won't forget this when I share it with you. So in a classroom, when the learners are there in the morning, that's the data. So imagine that classroom, it's on when the learners go to school. That classroom is on and there is data inside. The learners are moving about. That's what happens. But when the time to go home or knock off comes, all the learners disappear from the classroom. They move out of the classroom and go to their houses, and the classroom becomes empty. So that's exactly what happens in a RAM. When the computer is on, there is data inside. When it is off, all the data is removed and it is erased, in short. So that's what happens. I hope you found that story interesting. I don't know. So yeah, so that's it. So the RAM odds programs while the computer is on. So the correct answer is the RAM. Okay. So question 13 says, two examples of non-impact printers are dash and dash. So the two examples of non-impact printers are the inkjet printer and the laserjet printer, the line printer, drum printer, ball printer, and the band printer. So all these are valid answers. You can Google them to get more information about them and the like, but these are the answers that I managed to find. So what they mean by non-impact printer is that there is nothing that is touching the printer. Do you know how printers work? They work by there is a page, not so. Then there is ink. So in order for that ink to go on the page, there should be contact, not so. Or as we like to call it, impact. Something that is holding that ink, it should touch the paper so that that ink is transferred on the paper and you're able to see the things printed on the plain paper, not so. So that's the basic way a printer works. But when we say a non-impact printer, which means nothing is touching the physical paper, the ink is being transferred on this paper, on the plain paper, without touching it. So that's what it means by non-impact printer. There's nothing touching the paper when the ink is placed there. Okay, as simple as that. Question 14, dash is a device for sending images over a telephone line. So the correct answer is a fax machine. So a fax machine is a device for sending images over a telephone line. Obviously this is not there have comes WhatsApp, technology is advancing every day and every time. So these fax machines are outdated and only few companies are using them. There is WhatsApp and all those advanced applications. Okay, people are no longer using these fax machines, but this is the answer. In terms of over telephone line, the fax machine is the device used. So let us look at the last question of this section. Question 15. To use a computer network, a user must first log on by entering the username and password. So the answer is a password here. Okay, so whenever you're using a computer network, the user must log on by entering their username and password. That's it. So we have scored 20 marks. Congratulations if you have made it so far, and we are almost done with this paper. The next section we are going to look at is this section C. I hope you come along with me and I'll show you very interesting stuff in question C. So thank you so much. Welcome back to this part, the section C of our 2023 Junior Secondary Grade 9 examination past paper of the 2023. So, there are 5 questions in this section. Answer all questions in the answer booklet provided. So, let us start and jump right into the question. Question 1A states that the following diagram shows part of the components of a multimedia system. Complete the diagram by filling in the missing components. So these are just part of the components that are found in the multimedia system. So without wasting any much of your time, I'm just going to explain a brief on what this means by multimedia. So multimedia is anything that is able to represent data or information in different formats. For example, we can represent data or information using text, such as a document, a book, and so on and so forth. We can represent data using graphics. We can also represent data using audio. So now we have been asked to complete the diagram by filling in the missing components. So this is not even something that we should worry about and freak. We should just, this is general knowledge. So we use multimedia devices in our homes a lot. We have books, we have speakers, there are a lot. We have calendars. Even a calendar is something that is showing information and data in a graphical form, in an image form. So to answer this question, all we have to do is imagine the other ways in which we can represent data. So a way I can remember or think of is the video. So I can represent data in a video type of format. Which else? I can also represent data by using animations. So all these are answers. So it can either be animation or video. All these are valid answers. I'm sure there are a lot. If you have any opinions or ideas, you can share them in the comment section. I would love to hear from you, but for me, I am only aware of these. I don't know. Feel free to share if you know some other types of multimedia formats, and we can learn from one another. So let us go to part B. Give one multimedia device that can be used. Give one multimedia device that can be used for audio in the system. So in the system, what device can we use to produce sound or audio? The answer is very simple and straightforward. It's the speaker. So the speaker can be used. This is a device that can be used to present data using audio in an audio form. So a speaker is the answer for this part of the question. So let us go to C. State one advantage of using multimedia in presentations. So whenever we are having presentations, what can be the advantage of using these multimedias? There are a lot. So as for me, I found this, it's very user-friendly. When you're using multimedias, it's very user-friendly. It's not very complicated. It's easy to use, and it saves time because think of it. When something is very easy to use, you won't spend much time doing it. So therefore, it saves time and cost. The reason why it saves cost is because you are not spending money paying someone to do the presentation for you. So you save money and time at the same time. So these answers, you can choose only one for this question. So let us go to part D. State two disadvantage of multimedia. So the biggest drawbacks of multimedias are that it takes time to create. I mean, come on. When you are having a presentation, imagine your job depends on you creating a presentation that is very, very attractive and memorable. Of course, you will spend time creating it so that it can look as appealing as possible. So that's somehow a disadvantage. Other one is that software is expensive. For example, when you're using a multimedia application such as Microsoft Word, which produces data in Word format, Microsoft Word is not free, it's expensive, okay? We have more than, there are a lot, hundreds of thousands of softwares that I can think of that are expensive, but for now, all you have to understand is that the software is expensive. It is very expensive to use certain pieces of software, and most of the softwares that produce beautiful and nice quality results are very expensive because companies spend more resources creating that software. So I mean, those are the disadvantages. Another disadvantage is that it may not be compatible with some devices. So some devices don't work well with other softwares because you'll find that a company that was creating this software didn't pay attention to certain devices, or maybe you're using an old device. You're holding an old device, and the multimedia you're using is latest. So imagine the confusion that will go on there. You'll find that the device doesn't work well. So that is what they mean when they say it is not compatible some devices. So let us go to question 2. By the way, this is 6 marks, so we have scored 6 marks. Let us go to question 2. Complete the following table by filling in the missing errors and meaning. The first part has been completed for you as an example. So as you can see, we have 3 columns. The first column shows the name of the program. The second column shows the type of error we obtain. And the third column, it's about the meaning of that error. So the first one has been shown for us. So this is the program name is Microsoft Excel, and this is the error. And we have been told the meaning of that error. So this error, this hashtag div/o error means cell value divided by 0. So in short, what this means is that whenever you are working in a spreadsheet or software, when you divide anything by 0, it brings this error. So you cannot divide, this is a mathematical principle, you cannot divide anything by 0. So when you do that, it brings this error. So this is what this error looks like in Microsoft Excel, and this is what it means. So this is Microsoft Excel. So what happens in Microsoft Excel when the width of column is too small? So when the width of the column is too small, you are going to obtain this error. You are going to have these 5 hashtag symbols. This will indicate to you that the width of the column is too small. So if you have content in your cell in Microsoft Excel, in a particular cell, you have content that is bigger than the width of that column, in short. So it will display those hashtag symbols to show you that the width is too small and you have to expand it in order to display properly the content that is inside that cell. In Microsoft Word, when the words are underlined in green, what does that indicate? So what that indicates is that you have a grammar error or wrong grammar. So when your grammar is not correct, you haven't properly arranged your words. For example, you make some crazy sentence that doesn't make sense, even though all the letters or all the words are correctly spelled, but the way you have arranged them will result in a grammar error. So whenever you have a grammar error, the letters will be underlined with a green line. That's what that error does. So let us go to the next. In Microsoft Desktop Publisher, what error comes about when we misspell a word? So when we misspell a word, we are going to have a wavy red line. So a wavy red line is produced in Microsoft Publisher when we misspell a word. So those are the answers for this question, and the total of marks is 6. So let us move on to the next question, question 3. Question 3 says that study the picture of Microsoft Desktop Publishing Program and answer the question that follows. So this is the picture that we have been told to study. As you can see, this is the desktop publishing software, and we have been told to answer these questions. So name the space labeled A. So this is the space here that they are referring to. What do we call this space? So this space is called the scratch area. the scratch area. So what this scratch area does is that whenever you don't want something to appear on your document, you want to store it somewhere temporarily. By that I mean you don't want to delete something right away. In case you want to use it some other time, you can put it or place it on the scratch area. So let me show you by opening Microsoft Publisher. So this is Publisher 2016 that I'm opening, and I'm going to show you what I mean by the scratch area. So this is a blank document. So let's say I go on the insert tab and I insert a shape. Let us insert this square. As you can see, I've inserted a square. Let us say now I try to insert another shape. Let's say I insert this triangle. Okay, let me just take it slightly like this. Anyway, it's okay. So now then I decide that I need to take this triangle out of my blank document here so that I may use it later. So all I have to do is hold my left mouse button and drag it and drop it here. So this is the region that they're referring to as the scratch area. So as you will see, when I print this page or this document, all that will be displayed will be this inside this area, this document. Anything that is outside the scratch area will be printed. So whatever is in this area outside my page, this is the page, whatever is outside here won't be printed. Only this inside will be printed. This inside my document will be printed. So let me show you what I mean. Let's say I just place it like this halfway. I want to show you what will happen. Let me go on file, then let me just export it so that you see what I'm talking about, because I do not have a printer connected currently. So let me just do this and I'll show you what will happen. Have you seen what I'm talking about? So whatever is in the scratch area will not be printed. So this is exactly how it will look like when I print it using my printer. So have you seen the triangle is cut halfway because the other half was in the scratch area and the other half was inside my document. So this is what I mean when they say whatever is outside this part of the document won't be printed. Only the things inside. So the scratch area is only used to hold things temporarily in case you may want to use them. So in case I decide to use it, I can just drop it back and I use it. So it's just a handy place for me to keep things so that I can use them whenever I want to, instead of deleting them permanently. So that's one way of using the scratch area. So let us go to question B. What name is given to the outline labeled B? So this outline, so this is the boundary or border. Okay, so these are some of the answers. These are, so we can call that as the boundaries, the border, or the borderline. All those are names. So what that does is just shows us where the image begins and where it ends. As simple as that. So that's what we call that part labeled B. Let's go to question C. Question C says that it states two types of publications. So I did a quick Google search and it showed me an intensive There are a lot actually. You can just pick any of them, but this is what I googled, and those are all the answers. So you can pick any of them. So yeah, if you want, you can Google them in order for you to have. There are a lot. So this is why I say you should Google in your free time, and you'll be able to understand the different types. I won't go into detail. This is just something that you can do. So those are the types of publications, and they can be in different forms. They can be textual, as in they can be just like for example, a book is something that is textual. It only has text. Sometimes it can be graphical. You can publish something that contains graphs and so on. So that's it for this question. Let us go to D. Give two uses of the desktop publication program. So the two uses are that you can use it to make calendars, you can use it to make brochures, you can use it to make newsletters, flyers, leaflets, and cards. Anything that can be placed on a physical material such as a plain paper, you can use the publication program for that. So those are just the answers of which we have just been asked to use two. You can choose any of these. All these are answers. So let us move on to question 4. Computers play an important role in hospitals and clinics. Computers are very useful machines. They have revolutionized the way we deal with information, the way we interact with one another, and so on, the way we do work. So not only has it revolutionized the way we do work and play, it has also helped in terms of healthcare in the hospitals and health systems. So this is one of the questions that we are going to answer. So the first question says, mention one input device apart from a keyboard that can be used to enter details of patients. Apart from a keyboard. So the answer is the keypad and the touch screen. So a keypad also contains keys, such as it's like the keyboard, but except it only deals with numbers. And the touch screen, you are all familiar of what the touch screen is. I won't go into detail. So these are the two answers that you can choose from. Let us go to the next part B. State two uses of the computer in hospitals. So in the hospitals, what are some of the two uses of the computer? So the two uses are that you can choose any of them. I answered 4 of them, but feel free to, whichever suits you, you can use it. This is general knowledge. There is no right or wrong answer. As long as it's relating to the question, there are multiple answers. So these are only answers that I can think of right now. So the first one is keeping records of patients. So you can use the computer to keep records of patients. This is very, very useful. You can use a computer to keep records of patients. You can use it to keep information about the workers, for example, the doctors, the nurses, the physicians. You can keep information about such people using a computer. For hospital transactions, you can use it to make calculations of the payments. And for record management, for pharmacy, for example, you can use Microsoft Excel to calculate the number of drugs, the amount spent on certain things, and so on and so forth. You can use the computer to do pretty much anything in that regard. So let us go to the next part. Give two ways of protecting records of patients stored on a computer. So the answers are as follows. You can use a password. Obviously, this is an obvious answer. You can use a password. You can put antiviruses on the computer system. You can also encrypt data so that no one can interpret that data without a key. So that's one of the answers that we can think of. Let us go to D. Give one storage medium for backing up records of patients. So a storage medium can be anything that you can use to store information. For example, you can use an external hard disk, flash disk, memory disk, or tape, or DVD, a digital video disc. Yeah, so those are the answers. We are now on question 5. I think this is the last question of this question paper. It says, study the following picture of the spreadsheet program and answer the questions that follows. So this is the picture of a spreadsheet program. In this case, this is Microsoft Excel. So let us answer the given questions. The first question is saying that given the cell address, give the cell address for the active cell shown in the picture. So the active cell in this picture is this part here. The reason why I'm saying that this is the active cell is because it has a thick border or boundary. So this shows that this is the cell that is active or that we have clicked. And whatever we start typing on the keyboard will appear inside this cell. So, what is the address of this cell? So to determine the address of a given cell in a spreadsheet program, remember, a spreadsheet program operates by using columns and rows. So once you understand what a column is and what a row is, you won't find any challenges when answering these types of questions. So a column is this vertical part here, the vertical section. This is what we call the column. So in a spreadsheet program, columns are labeled as letters. So this is column C. Then the rows, these are horizontal lines or the horizontal areas or regions. And the horizontal rows are given by the names in numbers. So this is 1 up to whatever number, whatever length of your spreadsheet. So this active cell here is in what column? This is column C. And this active cell is also in column, in what is in row 8. So this cell in short is in column C and row 8. Or we like to call it cell C8. So the cell address of this active cell is C8. So this is the answer. The cell address is C8. So that's the answer for this question. Let us go to B. Write the formula that was entered in cell B9 to calculate the total. So where is cell B9? This is cell B9 here. So which formula was entered in this cell to find the total? So to find the total, the formula that was entered was this formula here. They started with the equal to sign. All formulas in Microsoft Excel or any spreadsheet program start with an equal to sign. If you don't have the equal to sign, even in the exam, if you just write this part starting from sum, you are wrong. You should start with an equal to sign. So you write the equal to sign to show that this is a formula. Then you write the sum because we are adding. Total is all about adding. So you add this sum part. Then this that I've added in brackets, this just shows us that we are starting to add items from B3 to B7. So where is B3? B3 is here. So this is B3 to where? B7. So this is the formula that was used. We added the prices starting from B3 to B7. As simple as that. Let us move on. What formula was entered in cell B10 to calculate the biggest price? So this is B10 here. So which formula was entered here to calculate the biggest price? So the formula that was entered was this simple formula. This formula, max. Because we are finding the biggest price, therefore we have to use the function max or maximum. So when you use this, it doesn't add, it only finds the biggest value. So the biggest value starting from what? Starting from B3 to B7. So it finds the biggest value starting from B3 all the way to B7. And in this case, the biggest value was 1,200. As you can see here, the biggest value is 1,200. Let us move on. What formula was entered in cell B11 to obtain the number of devices? So the formula that was entered in B11 here to calculate the number of devices was this formula. The count. So we counted the number of cells and it gave us in return the number of items. But I find using this answer, when I tried using this in Microsoft L, it gave me an error. So the correct formula that I find is useful is count, then you add the letter A at the end. What this does is that it counts the cells that are not empty. So it will count this cell because it's not empty. It will also count this cell, this cell, this cell, and will give us the result 5, as you can see. So this is the formula. This is the correct formula. Count A, then you add the range in brackets. So we are counting from B3 to B7, and it will give us the number of items. So that's the answer. So now let us go to the last and final part of this question paper. D. In what order have items in the spreadsheet been entered? Have you seen these items in this spreadsheet? They haven't been just typed or entered randomly. There is a certain order that they have been typed. For example, in class, you can see the class register. They don't just write the names of learners. There is alphabetical order. There is all sorts of orders, not so. So same applies here. So we have been asked to find which order have these items been arranged. So the answer is alphabetical descending order. So this is the answer, alphabetical descending order. As you may agree with me, these letters are alphabetically ordered, but they are in alphabetical descending order, which means that the first letters of the alphabet are below. Whichever item that has the first letter of the alphabet will be below. Then the other letters will follow. So as you can see, K is furthest from the first letter, M, P, and so on. So if we had an item that started with the letter Z, it would have been the first item because it's in alphabetical descending order. So thank you so much for making it so far. This marks the end of our wonderful 2023 past paper. I hope to make more videos like this in the future. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, share, like this video. This helps the YouTube algorithm recommend this video to more people so that we can continue to create this wonderful content for all. So yeah, thank you so much and have a wonderful day.